Hi
Hello.
everyone. Welcome. This week we're stuck in a bird cage. No.
Welcome to One-on-One Ratio Pod, where we talk about movies and life itself, the great, and sometimes we talk about Greek philosopher Socrates.
Yep. And Plato.
Right. And today, what movie are we talking about today?
The bird cage, baby. And that's what we're
Because
talking
it's all we
about.
can talk about here in this environment.
Yeah.
Which is a little stressful, but the show must go on. Even if you're stuck in a birdcage, you still have to pursue your dreams of podcasting.
Yeah.
And me and Meli are doing it.
We
Um,
may be stuck,
and
but
yeah,
we're
at
living
least we have
life.
cellular reception.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been receiving some pretty cool movie news as well.
Hell yeah. Do you want to start?
Okay, well, I'll start with the biggie.
Right. The elephant
Um,
in the room.
the elephant in the room, which was last week. It was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This week it's the writer's strike ending, which is much more important news. Very happy about that. I think every condition was met for the
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Every condition was met.
I was very happy
Yay.
because I just finished Yom Kippur and like fasting and like not being on my phone, and then the radio throughout Yom Kippur was playing like radio silence because my grandparents are always have the radio on. It was playing radio silence, and the first thing they said was the writer's strike ending in Hollywood, and I was like, "Woo!" But my voice
That's
was really raspy because I hadn't drank water.
hmm.
But yeah, I
I
was
love how
very
that's the
happy.
first thing they announce. They have their priorities. Uh,
Right.
they have their priorities in check. Um, part two. What's next on the list? Okay. Well, also they're meeting for the SAG strike. I know that. Um, there's like a
Oh, okay.
meeting where they're going to be talking about the actors' demands. So hopefully, their demands are met soon. Um, yeah, they're
I
important.
I think I think this strike is gonna be so iconic in the future. I'm just thinking about all of these videos and photos I see of like Laura Dern and shit, like walking around Hollywood, and like you kind of see them all being themselves,
Yeah.
They're all like not minus all the suits and the dresses and whatever, and they're all just walking around. I mentioned Laura Dern, but like everyone is participating, so it's
Right.
really cool to see.
That is cool to see because they're all part of SAG and actors are important, guys, because your Laura Derns and your Pedro Pascals aren't the ones single-handedly keeping Hollywood alive. It's all of
Right.
the other actors that are part of SAG and other corporations.
Hmm. It's very true.
But on some bad news that I saw actually today, um, on Sunday, so the movie we talked about a few weeks ago with with Paul Mescal and
We
Saoirse
were
Ronan
very excited.
has debuted with a 0% on Rotten to guys,
What?
zero
How?
percent.
That's like critics, right?
Yeah, yes, it is because it's not audience. Yeah, because it's
Are
not
you
out yet.
sure, or did you just check the Rotten Tomatoes and,
I will show
or is
you
that
right now. I will pull it up right now.
because if there's no reviews, it will show 0%. No.
Okay, it just went up. It went up to
Okay.
19
Okay, so it's awful. With how many
um
reviews?
with 16.
Okay, that's bad though. That's like a really bad start.
It is. And some I saw someone here. This is the original. Oh my God, sorry, brightness.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, someone said that this is the white person's Malcolm and Marie. Sorry.
It's funny because Malcolm and Marie is for white people.
It, it-
Like,
it's I guess it's the Irish person's Malcolm and Marie.
right.
But yeah, but I just thought I'd share because we were pretty hyped about that movie, and
I still might see it because the premise is so promising.
I probably will still see it as well because I gotta support my Irish lads. But
Yeah,
I'm now like
that
not the
sucks.
yeah.
I had a very visceral reaction when she told me about this. So
Yes. He
I'm
was
currently in the first few steps of the grieving process, but
yeah.
hopefully by the next pod, me and Meli will be recovered and we'll be able to process it better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's hope. You know what's also awful? We have a lot of bad news this week.
We do have bad news.
What was also awful was Zack Snyder is making a new movie, currently recovering from whatever the Justice
Justice
League.
League.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of that, sadly. Um, Rebel Moon, it's called his new film. The
Don't
most
you mean
basic, like,
Austin Moon?
no, what? What is
The guy
Austin Moon?
from Sing?
I don't know who that is,
Okay, my
but
joke failed, guys. It
is
did
he a
not.
rebel?
Sure.
He's a rebel moon, and I guess this movie's about him. But the trailer was crazy. It was giving Gran Turismo with how awful this thing was. It's 4 minutes long,
Oh God.
and it looks like the most basic, like, superhero schlock ever, ever.
Sorry.
It looks awful. And, like, at least it's like a new story, like a new superhero. But like as someone that's not very invested from in superheroes, it's like taking an outside perspective. It just looks awful. Like I can't even tell you to watch the trailer because it just looks bad, and you'll probably be forced to sit through it in theaters. So just don't.
I will be striking against it because if we've learned one thing this year, it's we like original movies. Or you could do like something like Saw, and even though you're part of a franchise, it's still new, I guess, and like
Right.
creative and like refreshing ideas. We don't need
Have you
more.
been reading reviews for Saw X? Because I heard it was like pretty good, like good plus.
I heard it's great, and I am trying to get tickets for my birthday, but as of right now, Cinemark doesn't want to show me the date past October 5th, and I need it for October 7th, and they're not
Why aren't you
showing it to
doing it
me
on your actual birthday?
because my birthday's on a Wednesday and I have
Yeah.
rehearsal.
Um. Oh wait. Speaking of Saw, boom. Segue. The long-awaited Saw Patrol is
Long
happening.
awaited.
Saw
Long
Patrol was
awaited.
this shitty studio trying to do like a Barbenheimer like revival of sorts, or trying to capitalize off the meme, and they ruined it. They ruined the meme. This thing called Saw Patrol is Saw X and Paw Patrol the movie releasing on the same day. But what's so dumb is that those don't, like, at least Barbie and Oppenheimer have like an audience that they share. Like they're both for adults. Like that's all you need. But Paw Patrol,
What 5-year-old is gonna go see a guy get his eyeballs sucked out of
exactly,
his face?
exactly. And what like grown mature adult without children would go see Paw Patrol?
Exactly. Nobody. Guys, corporations suck. Jesus. Get a grip.
They
Pissing
always
me
have to
off.
ruin like the stuff that comes from the internet that's like real like good memes. Like I'm happy that Barbenheimer happened. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So like why are you ruining it? Awful. Do you have
Um,
any good news?
I do have good news actually. Sorry, I do have some good news.
This is what happens when you're trapped.
Yeah, when you're stuck in a cage, you start to think negatively. Anyways, good news. Well, this is good news now, and it was not good news before, I guess. No. Hattie McDaniels is getting her Oscar replaced after it was stolen 60 years ago. If you don't know, Hattie McDaniels is the first Black woman to get to receive an Oscar for Gone with the Wind. Is that
Yeah,
right?
supporting
Yes.
actress.
Right. Um and yeah, she won. It was like super controversial. She was not even allowed in the theater. Crazy. But her Oscar was stolen, and actually Yoav and I went to the Academy Museum together, and we saw the place where her Oscar should be, but it is missing. But
Right.
now they are replacing it after 60 years. Should
It's
have
been
been
a little
replaced
time,
59 years
Mr.
ago.
Academy people.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, people, ever since me and Meli went to the Academy Museum, everyone has been copying us because of like a week later, freaking Karsten Runquist went there. And
Yep.
I'm seeing all these celebrities going to the Academy Museum. And I'm like, we set that trend.
We literally started that, guys. We
And now,
started it.
freaking Greg Araki and John Waters were there, like hanging
Like,
out.
come on, like be more original.
Oh,
Be
well, I
more
did write this
original.
down. Speaking of John Waters, he got like a Hollywood Star of Fame,
Did
which is
he?
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for him.
Which is
Love
so
John
funny because
Waters.
someone could make something stuff that's like so boundary pushing, like Pink Flamingos, and like considered by Hollywood, he's like on like a blacklist of some sort that he got that Hall of Fame thing, but he worked hard enough to get that.
Right.
And, you know,
He
he's
he
freaking John
is
Waters, so
he is John Waters. He is a veteran in Hollywood. He is
yeah.
a trendsetter. He is um what's the word?
He is style. He like
Yeah,
defines a lot of filmmakers' style. It's freaking John Waters. Like
come
it's
on.
about time.
Seriously.
He's an antique filmmaker at this point. Like give him his star. That should have happened years ago, but I'm
Gotta love
happy it
the
did.
little mustache.
Yeah, he's iconic. It's like
Yeah,
every single John Waters video or like interview is iconic. Like we've all seen
facts.
his interviews. All of his I've only seen Cry Baby,
Mm. You haven't
which is
seen
sad.
Hairspray?
Oh, I've seen the old Hairspray, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
Um
say you haven't. You're a theater kid and you haven't seen
right,
Hairspray,
right, right, right. I mean, I've seen the new one and the old one.
right?
Most people have only seen the new one, but I
Tracy
saw the old one.
Turnblad. Tracy
Isn't
Turn.
it? Wasn't it? The way you repeated it,
Sorry,
it
guys.
didn't land, so she went again. Sorry.
I'm so
Um,
used to Zev laughing at all my jokes, and Yoav is not laughing at my jokes.
no, it was funny. It was funny. I'm sorry. It just got me off guard. Very.
Okay.
So watch some John Waters movies, and I'm happy you got that.
Yes.
Yeah. What else
Any other?
happened this week?
Oh, well, I have bad news. We had another death, guys. Michael
Not me.
Gambone.
That I.
Oh,
Not
Yoav's
me.
not dead.
No, no. I said I know. I didn't announce it this time,
Oh,
which is a
yeah, he didn't
firstie.
announce it this time. Michael Gambone has passed at the ripe age of 82.
Yeah.
He is most famously known for playing Dumbledore in the Harry Potter saga series. He is most famous for when he went, Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? That was pretty
Yeah.
crazy. That was pretty
That was
crazy.
pretty nuts when Michael Gambone did that.
Yeah.
Is it Michael Gambon or Michael Gambon?
Probably Gambin.
Okay.
It's probably Gambin.
You
But
just put some extravagance on there.
yeah, because there's no E after the Bond, so it would be
Yeah.
so
He's
Gambon.
very Michael Gambon. He's like a famed British actor. It's like,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
don't know.
Um I that's terrible news, and I'm so sorry that's to his loved ones that
Rip.
happened, because 82 is not that old. Like, he could have lived more.
Rip
And
to a legend.
me and Meli are Harry Potter fans, so
I guess.
to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, I'm
I'm
not like,
interested. I wonder what they're gonna do with this new series.
yeah.
I don't know what
I'm
that's
not
gonna
I
do.
don't like Harry Potter enough to watch the new shit.
Hmm.
But cuz I did watch the first two. Um what's it called? Garden
Fantastic,
Thieves? Fantastic Mr.
fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Fantastic
Fantastic beasts.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yep.
Garden Thieves. Where did Garden Thieves come from? Yeah, fantastic. I did see those. Those were awful. So
Yeah.
I dropped that. I just Harry Potter gives me a special feeling that you can't get anywhere else. It's like I grew up with these kids.
Right. That's why Harry Potter works so well. I think okay, fuck J.K. Rowling. We don't support J.K. Rowling.
Right.
Um, but yeah, the movies have a special place in all of our hearts. The first one is like so perfect for fall. And as the movies go on, I don't know, they're good. They're
Yeah.
nostalgia. I watch them for nostalgia pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, but like it's just like Harry Potter was both of our childhoods, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh for
So,
sure.
yeah. Um and they do grow up with the as the movies progress. So, it's kind of like Boyhood in that way.
Maybe it was the boys we hooded all along.
Okay, Zev, I think Zev is getting to you. Um
He is,
so
he is.
something great that's been happening is this movie, this little tiny little film called Stop Making Sense, which is kind of an underrated lightning in a bottle film.
So
I
I've
say
heard.
lightning in the bottle because nothing can prepare you to like the electric energy of this movie. um and it's gotten a 4K restoration these past few weeks. It's been
Hmm.
sweeping theaters nationally in the old United States of America,
Right.
and it's been making a revival in the conversation of classic cinema. And I think that it's one of the best concert films of all time. I think it's I I
Tell
used
that
this word
to
in my
give me
review.
shelter.
Well, I haven't seen Give Me Shelter.
Yeah, neither have I. I have to watch it.
Um, I would say this. I think Monterey Pop is hands down the best concert film ever, but Stop
Is
Making
that
Sense.
is that Jimi Hendrix?
That's like this festival that happened before Woodstock. That was
Hmm.
like all of these like up and coming musicians kind of like getting into it and getting and
Ah,
like really almost reaching the height of their fame at that point. And it comes before Woodstock, and it was in Monterey. And so you got everyone. You got Bob Dylan, you got Janis Joplin, you got the Mamas and the Papas. Is that their name? Mamas and
yeah.
Papas.
Yep, yep, yep.
Simon and Garfunkel, Jimi Hendrix, Otis Redding. It's stacked. It's
Okay.
stacked.
I
And
gotta
it's
watch
like,
that.
yeah, it's a very short documentary, and the energy is great in it. But I want to, yeah, Stop Making Sense. Orgasmic movie. Orgasmic, I have to say. So
Great
seek
word.
that out. Seek the 4K restoration out in your local theater. It's probably there, hopefully, if you live in the United States.
It definitely is. It's playing where I live in a lot of theaters. So,
And you're not going?
uh, if I have time, I want to. I just I I'm like fucking
I see. I see.
we'll see.
But yeah, the movie's great. David Byrne is great. Obviously, love him. True Stories is the best thing ever. So I would like anything by David Byrne.
Right.
I own some of his records and some of his movies, and
What?
one of his records and one of his movies.
Love it. Love the talking heads.
Yeah. But what did you watch this week?
What did I watch this week? Let's see what I watched.
Because I
Um,
saw a little something something on. Well, I saw two something somethings I want to hear you talk about on your
yes.
little letterbox page.
I only managed to watch two things, and one was for my film class. So technically I only watched one thing in my free time. But first I watched Stagecoach, which is like one of the OG Western movies. It defined and shaped the Western genre. The movie was, in my opinion, I'm sorry, I'm gonna offend some people, nothing special.
It's true.
Yikes. Sorry. I just don't. Okay. I like Western and I like the concept of a Western genre, a Western movie. I've never really seen one that has necessarily blown me away yet.
Same
Um,
here.
so I don't know. And I wasn't even like, I didn't even think this movie was going to blow me away. I knew it wasn't going to. It was meh. Like, whatever. Like,
I don't care.
I don't care. I was bored. I was so bored. And I had to then write a 400 word, like, little blurb about it. And I was like,
Yeah. I bullshitted that to the teacher when we did that. I was like, it's revolutionary. I mean, okay. Um, I'll hat off to the cinematographer because the way he films, like, I'm guessing it's a he,
it has to
1939.
be.
The way he films, like ensembles of actors is very impressive.
Right.
And I'll also hat off to the poster designer of this film because look at that.
Okay. I
That's like
agree.
a really nice poster. Like
Yeah.
it has no right being that nice of a poster. Um, but apart from that, it's like mildly entertaining. But yeah, I see what you
Whatever.
mean.
Last year in my English class, we learned about all these very wrong, false narratives of Native Americans. And I get it. You think Apaches are savages, and let's just shut up. I don't, be quiet.
Maddie's review was boo, so boring. Oh my god, I wanted to pull my hair out.
Yeah, that was my review. Yay!
That's not a good impression of you. I'll
I
work
think it
on
was a
it.
pretty good impression.
I yeah, I'll try harder next time though.
Oh, it's okay. This is me patting your head.
Thank you, thank you.
I also watched
Um,
The Wonderful Life of Henry Sugar. Um,
yeah.
guys, if you know me, you know I love Wes Anderson. It's so good. I love Dev Patel. Oh my god, I want to eat him up. He is so scrum-diddly-umptious. Um, he was so cutie patootie in this movie, and I loved the way he was telling the story. I love the story in and of itself. Benedict Cumberbatch surprised me. I don't dislike him, but I don't think he's anything special. But I really liked him in this movie. He's cool. They're all
Well,
cool.
what about the power of the dog?
Oh, that's different. We don't That's
Okay.
different. That's obviously
Okay.
he like no. I mean
Okay.
everything else I've seen him in, he's just like meh, except for Power of the
Yeah,
Dog. He was
right.
amazing, fantastic
Because
in that.
how can someone be in like Marvel movies as Doctor Strange and be in something like Power of the Dog? And I can't.
Exactly. Um,
It-
but yeah, that's
yeah.
it. That's all I watched. Love Wes
Well,
Anderson.
yeah, he released four short films to Netflix. The Swan, The Ratcatcher, The Poison, and The Wonderful Life of Harry
Henry Sugar.
Henry Sugar. Um
Yes.
and I started watching The Swan, which was pretty unsettling of a watch.
Huh.
I haven't finished it. I have 2 minutes left, which is funny because it's only 17 minutes long. But I was tired. Um, but it's like a Roald Dahl, whatever. So I did start watching that. Um, I watched. What did I watch this week?
Yeah,
I
what
watched
did you
two
watch?
like very very big things,
Mm-hmm.
and then two stupid things. So I'll just talk about the cool stuff. Marty Scorsese's Casino. Have you heard of that little
Of
movie?
course I've heard of that little old movie.
It's not little. It's 3 hours long. It has a giant reputation. It's a beast of a movie. It's everything Scorsese combined into one. Like it's Goodfellas. It's After Hours in like a really weird way. It's commentary on Americana, on suburban culture, on drugs, capitalism, everything, toxic masculinity, abusive relationships. It's Marty Scorsese all in one 3 hour fun ass ride. It's a very fun ride. Um but yeah, Casino, it's kind of goofy as well. Like I didn't expect, that's why I said After Hours, because it's kind of goofy. It's like they're kind of parodying themselves in a weird way.
Hmm.
Um
Okay.
but yeah, I recommend that. And
Nice.
I mentioned this in my review. There are a lot of freeze frames. There's a freeze frame in the movie we're talking about today, but there's a lot of freeze frames in Casino. And I love freeze frames. Bring them back. They're really fun. Do you
Marty is
agree?
the king of freeze frames. If you have seen Wolf of Wall Street, you know that.
Right. And think about how good they looked in Wolf of Wall Street in like a modern setting. Why don't we do them? And do you like them as well?
Uh, I like them when they work.
Yeah. A lot of my favorite movies have freeze frames.
Hmm.
Like there are some movies where like freeze frame can really like we need to bring them back.
Didn't
Um
did Mysterious Skin have a freeze frame?
I believe somewhere,
The
but I
ending, I thought, right?
maybe.
Whatever.
No, the ending is like a
Was it? I don't.
ascension.
Okay. Oh, you're right. You're
Anyways,
right.
um
What'd you watch next?
I watched like stupid shit and then I watched Asteroid City,
Hmm.
um the new Wes Anderson film with my family. Um Deep exhale after that one.
Right.
Am I right? Um, I'm kind of at a loss for words, and I'm not sure if it's in a good way or a bad way. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I'll say it.
Okay.
Um, I think it's beautiful, like cinematographically, obviously, might be his best looking film. Maybe he didn't really beat French Dispatch visually, but like there's a lot going on here that's super, super intentional. It's super personal. It's super intricate. It's super philosophical. It's definitely his most like existential, philosophical film up to now. Um, and I don't know. I was like super affected it by it by when the credits were rolling, and then I was like expecting to think about it later, but there were no like solid questions formed in my head, you know? So I'm it because it's kind of distant. Do you get that?
I definitely get it. It's like it was it was distant but also emotional, but like I don't know. I watched it a while ago and I still don't know what to think about it, to be honest. I
There's
didn't
some
hate
lines in
it.
there that have stuck with me though. Like obviously the you can't fall asleep if you can't wake up if you don't fall asleep. Um But I wrote in my letterbox review there are little things that are like crazy, like it's like role reversals. Like there's the line where he meets Margot Robbie and he's like, "Oh, it's you. You're the wife that played my actress." And I was like, "Now that's cinema." Like there's a lot of a meta narrative going on here and I could unpack it. I just think that I'd rather unpack something like Fantastic Mr. Fox. Because something about Asteroid City, it's great. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm Wes Anderson's like very, very important to me. So like his other films sometimes get I don't know. I'm waiting for a different time in my life when Asteroid City hits, and I know it will.
Right.
That's what I'll say. Um, but yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. So
Sh-
this was
should
actually
we
our
get to our
longest news segment. So,
well, a lot happened.
mm-hmm.
While we were in the birdcage. Speaking
Yeah.
of the birdcage, let's go to our feature presentation. What do you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah. We're now gonna
All right.
break out of the birdcage and fly over to our next segment. So we will see you
Caca!
there.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Your mama is so fat. She went to the beach and a whale popped out of the water and started singing, "We are family, even though you're fatter than me."
Whoa. That's wild.
Uh, that's
Guys,
Guys, if you've seen The Birdcage, you know what I'm talking about.
if would you
Not
let
not
this boy
concerning obesity.
would you let this boy disrespect you like that? Disrespect your mama like that?
Let us know in the comments.
I
Would
would.
you?
Just kidding.
Okay. Fight back, Meli. Um,
Welcome to our debrief for the birdcage. These are our stills.
yeah, we both have our two main characters on it because they're pretty cool.
Pretty
Um,
sick.
so I'm so sorry. Let me just start by talking about like a little context for this film because I've seen it a bunch of times, and after like the second or third time I watched it, I only then realized by looking at the credits how stacked the birdcage is. And I told Many about this after we filmed last week. It's crazy how this movie exists. Like I'm so happy this movie exists. One, it's directed by Mike Nichols, which is one of the like Hollywood directors that formed Hollywood um in the 60s 70s and later too. The Graduate, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, he made Angels in America, Charlie Wilson's War,
Closer.
Closer. Haven't seen that. Have you seen that?
I have. Don't like it.
Yo.
But that's
Well,
the one where everyone romanticizes her as a stripper.
oh. Well, he's a pretty cool guy anyways.
He's an icon.
And his wife wrote this movie, and she is Elaine May. And Elaine May is a big deal in Hollywood as well. She wrote um a bunch of stuff, but she also directed some great films. Mikey and Nicky, if you've heard of it, The Heartbreak Kid, Ishtar, A New Leaf.
Huh.
That's our only 4 movies, but I've heard amazing things about Mikey and Nicky and The Heartbreak Kid and Ishtar. Haven't really heard a lot about A New Leaf, but I will be getting to her filmography one day because it's just great. She's a great writer. Um, and we'll get to the writing in this movie. But speaking of writing, or let's move on to cinematography. This is Emmanuel Lubezki doing cinematography, which is insane. Cinematographer for Birdman and The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, The Revenant, Gravity, Children of Men, Tree of Life, Burn After Reading, Y Tu Mama Tambien, Amsterdam, Sleepy Hollow, The Cat in the Hat.
Huh. That's trending right now. What a coincidence.
Meet Joe Black, Reality Bites, everything. He's like one of the most famous cinematographers working today.
He's an icon.
And he is also an icon. Um and we will get to the cinematography as well. I just want to outline how crazy this is. Original songs here written for the world of the movie by Stephen Sondheim, which is
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
insane. So
Sweeney
insane.
Todd.
Yeah. Um one of them is a song that was cut from his musical Follies. Um
Mm,
but some of them are original, which is great. Um
yes, yes, yes.
just just a stacked cast, but does it show on the film?
I think so.
Okay, that's good to hear. What's your first note, Meli?
Well, the first thing I wrote was I love Robin Williams. OMG. Guys, I love Robin Williams so much.
I also
Um
wrote about him.
Rest in peace to a legend, but he is so talented, guys. And I mean, I don't even like I just love him so much. And I just like when I think of him, I think of um Dead Poet Society because
Okay.
that's like one of my favorite movies that he's
Right,
done.
right.
But one of the
Same.
first movies with him that I've seen was like Mrs. Doubtfire, and his range is
Insane.
astronomical.
Yeah.
Oh my god, guys. He's so good. Like I have never seen him play the same character twice, and that says so much about him. And his character in the Birdcage was so funny.
Is magnificent. And I'll just go to the note. I grew up on Robin Williams as well. I mean, Hook, Flubber, Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
Doubtfire, Jumanji,
Oh my god,
Aladdin.
Jumanji.
What are we
Oh,
even talking about? I grew
he's
up on this
so
guy.
he's so iconic. I can't.
And I just love his vibe in this movie. He's just so I can't. I can't. He's so cool. He's like obviously he falls into some traps that his son sets up for him.
Which
And
we'll
we'll get
talk
to that.
about.
But I think his character is very, very intricate and personal and interesting. I mean, there is a scene where he's contemplating if he should do it, if he should straighten up for this new wife's family. Um, and he's sitting at a bar and smoking. And I don't know if you noticed, but it's like a maybe 15-second shot of
Mm-hmm.
just him smoking.
Oh yeah, of course I noticed that. I was like, that was
And
really.
I was not bored because it's Robin Williams. Like there's so much intricacies and you can see exactly what's going on in his mind, but like he's
Mm-hmm.
also just a little more emotionally closed off than say Nathan Lane in this movie. Um Albert. Um but you're doing very well.
Thank you.
You should be a Nathan Lane impersonator. Um
Should I
but yeah, Robin Williams is and everything he wears to the necklaces, the
look at his
pants,
drip? Look at his drip.
he's so dripped out. He said,
God,
"Look at his drip here." He's so like he's great.
he's
Um,
so drippy.
and I guess we can also talk about his counterpart here, Nathan Lane as Albert.
Guys,
What do
guys.
you think of him?
Oh, holy shit. Talk about a fucking performance. Nathan Lane, oh,
He is this movie.
he's the star of the movie. I'm sorry. Him and fucking Spartacus,
Oh, Agador. Yeah.
Agador Spartacus. I couldn't remember his real name.
Agador
Uh,
Spartacus. He insists on being called his full name.
oh my god. So
Love it.
I watched the movie with my mom, my grandma, and my uncle. They have seen it before. They love it. They were laughing the whole time.
Mm.
Nathan Lane is a fucking gem. I'm obsessed. He was so hilarious in this movie. The way he played, what's the
Albert. Albert or
Albert.
Albert.
Oh my god, fucking fantastic. so good. I was laughing my ass off. He was so funny. His little reactions, the way he would scream and oh, guys, which
There's He's so theatrical and flamboyant, which is
oh my
kind of
god.
the joke, but on
Yeah.
top of that, his character has the right to be as sad as he gets. Like what
Mhm.
happens to him is mess up. I
Yeah,
think this movie does have some serious undertones, very serious undertones, and I would say even some saddening ones concerning his character.
for sure.
Some of the negative reviews I saw on Letterboxd were like, "This is so slow and depressing," and I don't like to see that in my comedies. But I think it's emotionally complex, which is not something we get in comedies nowadays. There's drama and there's comedy, but there are moments like this one. Um, well, Albert and Agador, or not Agador. What's his name?
Um
Why am I
Al is they both have very similar names and I kept getting
what
them
am I doing?
confused. Albert and
Oh
Alan?
God, Alan,
Is it Alan?
Armand,
Armand.
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 Sorry, Jesus. Sit
Albert.
together and moments of silence and sadness that are and like reconciliation, and they're amazing. Um so yeah. He's just so great. I know practically all of his lines, especially in that first scene. I loved watching it this time around and seeing Nathan Lane does like little things that if you've seen the movie enough you get it. He quotes the red shoes in the
Mm.
beginning. He's like, Victoria Page will not dance the dance of the red shoes tonight. And like, I can't. He's so fucking funny. The way he like Robin Williams like pushes him around the room and he's like screaming and he's so dramatic and funny and so spunky and so reactive. Everything is so cool about him and so funny. He's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, very very big fan of Nathan Lane in this movie. Also very stylish and also looks great in drag.
facts.
Do that more. Um, which is okay. We can go chronologically. I wonder what you thought of like the first. I thought you'd start with this as well. The first shot of this scene is crazy, because Emmanuel Lubezki's famous for like his one shots that are like how Birdman is like one shot. Um,
Right.
because the energy you're sweeping in from the Atlantic Ocean into Miami or
Yes.
into South Beach, Florida, and you're panning down, you're going into the club, you're you're moving around all the way until you get to the manager. It's insane. It's a very crazy hard feat to pull off. That shot is so swick um and you're hearing the music and it just really gets me in the vibe.
Right. No, I mean
Yeah.
like I had a whole thing about a whole note about like cinematography and production design and like I was blown away because I wasn't expecting like the sets and like the the design of the production to be so
Right.
colorful and so pastel and gorgeous and beautiful and I was like blown away by that and like even just like scenes of them walking down the street and you have like all these people in like in their bathing suits and those like thongs and everything and
Mm.
the way they're dressed and the
The
way they're
amount
like
of butts
oh
and like bare upper bodies you see in this movie
a
is
lot.
crazy.
It's a lot.
Insane.
But it was also like perfectly placed. I don't know. It was fantastic. I was very much like the architecture. I was like it's like where
the
are these
set the
coming
set
from?
of their house and the nightclub and everything, the production design is perfect. Their
Mhm.
wallpapers, their sculptures, production design, set work here
Killed it.
is killer. um just I every time I watch this I'm like swept with like how hard the production design goes here, and the cinematography is very purposeful. It's very um it's funny because you never know where these characters are gonna go because a lot of this is improvised. Um, which I'll just speak to that real quick. That Mike Nichols is a big fan of rehearsal because he was a theater director first. Um, so he had these actors rehearse for like weeks on weeks, to like get used to their characters, make it feel lived in, have this blocking down, which is not very common, really. Um, and then once they actually got on set, everything was so rehearsed that they got to improvise. So you never know where they're gonna go. But the cinematographer made it so purposeful, anyways. And it's just so cool. What's your next note?
Well, my next, if we're going literally in order, my next note I just wrote aspirin with the A and S scraped off. I was dying of laughter at that. That was very funny. But then my next note, which ties into the sun.
Oh no.
Well, first of all, when we first get introduced to him, you don't know that he's the son, and it's obviously very purposeful that they do it like this. They make you think that he is like some side piece to Armand.
Mm-hmm.
And well, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh my god, he's cute, and I was like, I want that jacket he's wearing, and
Yeah.
he looks like Mike faced,
Yeah.
which I was like,
I
oh,
would
that's
argue that he looks even better than Mike Face.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I was like, wait, hold on. And the way they like kiss is they make it seem like they're like kind of
It's
romantic.
it
It's like
like once you
weird.
know their father son, it's like very father sonly. Like I wouldn't bat another eye
Yeah.
once I know it.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
first time I watched it, I was like, oh, they did it in such a. That's the thing. It's so rehearsed that like you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's like purposefully like this reveal. It's so purposeful. Everything's so purpose. That kiss specifically is so ambiguous.
Which
You
then I was like, I in all caps, I was like, that's his son? Boy, that kiss was strange.
know.
Because yeah, and then I was like, and I turned to my mom and I'm like, that's his son? I was like, what the heck? And she was like, yeah, they make I was like, oh, so they make you think. And I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But very good. I was
Well,
like, oh
I think it's a cool reveal.
no, oh for sure it
I
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
Looking back, you'll see the kiss and it will mean nothing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Um,
I guess it's also because of the what was the guy's name again? The butler.
a grotto.
Yeah. Like he was building up like that he was bringing someone over, so they make
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think that
yeah.
exactly.
Because you're put in um Albert's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's very paranoid, so you start being paranoid. You know.
Yeah.
Um, which is it's just a very cool sequence. And speaking of Agado, or I don't know how he says it in the movie specifically.
I
Um,
want to check again.
I love these names, by the way. Armand, Albert, Agrado. It's very nice.
They're so
He's
gay.
so amazing. Yeah.
Or
He's so
Agador.
Agador.
That's what
Why did
they
I
called
write
it
Agrado?
I don't know. Agador.
No. Agador. Yeah, Agador Spartacus.
Yeah.
Okay, I wrote Agador in every other note except for the one I'm reading right now.
Okay, that makes
He is
sense.
so he is so amazing.
Oh
His
my
like
god.
reacting in this like because most of this is filmed like kind of like a play where like even if a character isn't speaking or part of the dialogue, they're on stage reacting
Yeah.
on stage on film. Um and Agador his reactions are just so he gives like 500% everything, and all of his lines are so iconic. My father was the shaman of his tribe, my mother was the high priestess. It's just everything he does with the bits with the shoes later always get me. His
You know
performance is legendary.
you know what got me? When
What?
they were like when I think it was Armand or I think it was
Mm-hmm.
the son, one of them was like, you have to look more straight, like, look more straight presenting, and then the next scene, he shows up, and he is wearing fucking booty shorts and a shirt that says straight presenting. Oh my god. I was dead, I
It's so
was dead.
stupid.
I
It's
was
so stupid.
dead. I was like, "I need that shirt. That's a awesome shirt."
That is an awesome shirt. Where did they find these clothes? I
I
want to
don't
get them.
know.
I want to wear them. I want everyone's wardrobe here. So you get all these amazing scenes in that household, but then you first see Barbara's household, and it's like, ugh. There's still very
Yikes.
funny scenes in the conservative household over there, but they're not as funny
Yeah.
because they're just serious. Her parents are so boring.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, obviously, there's some really good moments, like the "Has he been tested?" moment. Obviously, uh, yes, and so have I. So good. I mean, it's just so iconic, some of these dialogues. But yeah, you get the juxtaposition between the conservative and the more liberal household. And it's tough. It's a very big change to make. Afterwards you get used to it, but um they Barbara's household is just very serious, and I mean, most of the comedy there is parodical. Is that how you would say it? Parody, parodying Republican, ultra conservative um politicians.
Yeah. Which it's funny because my grandma is very, passionate about that stuff and about, she's my grandma is, like, uber, um, liberal, okay?
Hmm.
Um, and she's very, like, passionate about how much she hates conservatives. So the throughout the whole movie, she's like, "This is the same, it hasn't changed at all these people act the same, and this is exactly how politics are nowadays," and I was like,
It's kind of true.
"Yeah, she's not wrong, she's not
My
wrong."
candidate was just found dead in the bed of an underage black whore.
My
I
mouth was
can't.
like I was like, that was me at the TV
Which
screen, I
is
was like, "Oh,
another thing that makes it stacked is the cast also, but frickin' Gene Hackman plays Senator Kevin Keeley in this,
Mr. Royal
of
Tenenbaum."
Mr. Royal Tenenbaum, Mr. The Conversation, Mr. The French Connection, Mr. Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Um he is the Kevin Keeley,
Mhm.
titular in the Camp Keeley. Can't stop. There's a throwaway line where the reporters are like, what's now being called Camp Keeley. I think it's pretty funny. There's a lot
I
of
don't
throwaway
remember that.
lines. Well, I'll tell you, my favorite line in this movie is a throwaway line, but we'll get to it. Well, actually, it's the next thing. After you see the conservative household, you go back to Nathan Lane doing his shopping in the in the little what would you call it? Like a farmer's market?
Mm, no, like, I would just like street
Outdoor
vendors.
market, whatever.
Yeah,
Everyone knows him. He's getting fish, he's getting eggs, whatever.
I love that scene.
So good, so colorful. And then he goes into, this is my favorite. I'm very passionate about these lines. This is
Mhm.
my favorite line in the whole movie, hands down. He goes into the baker's. It's such a throwaway line, but it's so good. Um, and he's like, mind if I try one of these samples?
Oh my god.
And the guy's like, yeah, sure, no. And then like they have the dialogue, and then Nathan Lane starts heading out, and he turns back and he's like, I'll just grab one more when the Schnecken beckons. It's so good. It
That
gets me every time.
that whole scene, I was dying of laughter. I obsessed, obsessed.
By the way,
Literally,
Schnecken was the name of the pastry that he was eating,
yeah.
right? And when the Schnecken beckons, it's just part like I don't think I've said it in front of you or like our friends before because no one has seen the Birdcage except for Shrek. Shrek. Zeb. Bro, he's
Um,
gonna watch this and he's gonna
I think you need to stop.
no one has seen it except for Zeb. So I have quoted that before, but like now that you've seen it, I'm gonna quote it more because I quote it with my family a lot. When the
You
Schnecken
should.
beckons is like part of my vocabulary forever.
You
That
should
line's
quote
just
it.
so good. Um, yeah. What's your next note?
Well, my next note is well, two things both about Nathan Lane since we're kind of on the topic of him. One,
Mhm.
I love when Armand is like, look at the way you hold your water and your posture. And that whole scene where
And the toast.
oh my God. And he's like, I stabbed my toe. That whole scene was
I
it,
pierced the toast.
oh my God, so good. And the way he kept drinking his water with his fingers, I was like, I was rolling on the floor.
So good. So good.
Um,
Everything about that restaurant scene. It's like I think like 20 minutes long, really. It's like
yeah.
really long. And it's just bit after bit of like Armand trying to like straighten Albert or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um and him not trying to or being able to conform to like stereotypical straight behavior.
Yeah.
Um because you know, Albert is an extreme of the like the gay stereotype, like a gay
Right.
flamboyant drag queen, whatever. Obviously he's much more complicated than that, and I disagree with people that say he's like a flat stereotype. Really not.
I agree. He's
It's
not.
fun to watch people that are flamboyant because it's theatrical, it's fun, that's part of the comedy,
Yeah.
right? It's written like that on purpose. Yes, it is a little stereotypical, but you know, he's so complex. You don't get complex gay characters in like modern shit, in like modern Hollywood shit. So what are you talking about? Like, at least take that. And it's such a movie about acceptance. Stop like, sorry, I could rant forever on how annoying that is.
No, it's okay. And
Um,
I think we should talk about that like more in depth with the sun. But before we do that, I just also want to
yeah,
say that
yes, for sure.
um I also think that Nathan Lane is such a master actor because I mean obviously he's gay in real life, but like the way he his what did I his his hand acting, like just like how
Amazing.
Cillian Murphy has his eye acting,
Right,
Nathan Lane's hand acting in this movie is out of this world.
right.
Out of this world. It is so good. Even his face, like it's obviously very theatrical,
Mm,
but the way it's like the facial expressions he was making, his reactions, I was like, yeah, this is a master actor right here. Like this is amazing.
yeah. Um, and I think he has the best lines in the. I grew up with these characters really because I watched this
Right.
when I was like, you know, I think he has such good lines and such good delivery, and his hands are a big part of that. Everything he does, he talks with his hands.
Hmm.
After that dinner scene or whatever, when actually no, that's later. I'll talk about that later. But please talk to me about Val. What are your opinions on Val? Because he's not a good son.
Oh my God. He was pissing me off so much. Cause I'm like, why are you being such a conforming little bitch? Like, it was just like so annoying. I'm like, your whole life you've grown up with these two men, okay? You like, they are your parents. And then all of a sudden, like, you want to make this switch into something that they aren't, and you want to act like you've grown up in this environment that you haven't grown up in. Like, and obviously it was like taken to the extreme for the point of the movie,
Right.
Like,
But everything
putting
is extreme.
right, like, putting the crucifix up and making the house look like a
Yeah,
monastery,
yeah.
like,
The moose.
oh my god, the
The
moose
moose
head.
head.
Um, but like it was just like really annoying me because I'm like,
Mhm.
why can't you be proud of like who you are and who your parents are and who you grew up with?
He
And
does he does show up at the end a little,
yeah,
but that doesn't, I don't think any of these character like the conservative parents or Val or Barbara are redeemed, or Christine Baranski's character to that point for being a bad mother.
I agree.
I think there's this end is not something you'd get in normal comedies. No one is redeemed,
Yeah,
right? Even the ending, which is funny, yes, the conservative senator is going in drag, like that's super ironic. That's like seeing the narrator in the wheelchair at the end of Rocky Horror take out his leg and he has a legging on, you know.
right.
um but no one is redeemed. We're just family. Like, that's just how life is. Like, just accept each other and
Exactly.
try to understand each other and don't change yourself for others. Like, this message is so simple. And Val, yes, he's super annoying and kind of homophobic.
Yeah,
Not kind of. He is
he
homophobic,
is.
which is so sad. But like, just the way it goes as well,
Like
I have to say.
the way they were treating Albert, I was like, are you like this all he wants, like he just wants to be loved and like just spend time with his little with this with this partner
Son.
husband slash
Yeah.
partner slash husband and his son and just be a happy family. And then you're turning him around and you want to banish him away or you want to like make him act like a straight uncle and make him be somebody that he isn't, and he's clearly so hurt about that because he's worked so hard to become the person that he is and to have the identity that he
Mm-hmm.
has, and then you're going and you're trying to erase that and take that away from him and make him feel like and be someone that he's not, and it's so like dehumanizing to do that.
Oh, of
And
course.
that's why his like the way he reacts is so valid, and that's why it like goes beneath the surface with those emotions because
Yeah.
it's like you are actively trying to strip away his identity and who he is to
Yeah.
become something that he isn't and actively fights
Yeah.
against because that's like he's gay, and especially in a time when it wasn't as accepting even though he was in a very like
Not
queer
even the fact that
place.
he's gay, he's just flamboyant. He's
Yeah.
not masculine in many ways. So like having to hide that is just shitty. Very shitty. And I think Robin Williams, again, testament to his performance, how he's like every decision he makes and every like acting choice he makes, it's like this guy's torn between, it's Sophie's choice. It's
Yeah.
between his partner and his son, you know? Um and like every decision he makes, he doesn't want to hurt Albert, he doesn't want to hurt Val. He wants everything to work out. But yeah, Albert ends up being hurt. Um
Hmm.
what what else did I have? Robin Williams and Christine Baranski singing Sondheim together is the new big thing. Um, that's so underrated scene. Um, the costume work. Sorry, I'm just going through this.
It's
Ah,
okay.
yes, another jibe, another joke at my
Oh my
expense.
god.
um, I wrote a lot about this long shot of Armand and Albert at the bus stop because stunning, stunning scene with
Yeah.
the palimony agreement. So human, so dramatic. It's like it's such a melancholy moment of like reconciliation in this like comedy. It's
Yeah.
weird. Uh, yeah. What's your next note?
um oh, let me see.
I'll
My
say.
last note was just whenever like the whole thing was going on, I was like, why not just have Albert play the mom? And I turned to my mom and I said that, and I was like, this was like very, very early on, like before the parents came or whatever, when they were like trying to have him act like the uncle. I turned to my mom and I was like, why not just have Albert play the mom? And she was like, have you seen the movie before? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay. And I was like, okay, well, obviously he's gonna play the mom, but like,
Right, your mom ruined.
yeah. And I was like, okay, obviously something's gonna happen where he comes out in drag and he's gonna be the mother. But the whole time I'm like, just have him play the fucking mom. And then he
True.
did, and then he played this ridiculously
He ate that
conservative
up.
woman, abortion, kill the mothers and the doctors, and he was like, "Oh yeah, just kill the moms." And you might be wondering why, because it's
Might
also
as
going to
well
kill the
put them,
babies.
sink them with the ship. That's just
It's like
so dumb.
the babies were going to die anyway. I was like, "Oh,
He has
ridiculous."
those slips though, where he's like, "I think everyone should be able to marry," you know,
Yeah, yeah,
which is really funny. I'll just get to the dinner scene because it's so long
yeah.
and kind of unflinching and like obviously uncomfortable and tense, but like in a comedic way.
Right.
The secondhand embarrassment is insane.
Oh
It's
my
insane.
God.
Um, but that dinner scene is just so vast. It's so big. It's so like you got long shots of this big it's like 8 characters like and everyone has their own thing, right? So
Yeah.
Albert's fucking this up. Agador is slowly drinking more and more whiskey. uh or not Agador, sorry. That's
Armand.
Armand is, yeah, Agador is falling every time. Agador, Spartacus, the plates.
Oh my God, the
It looks like two
plates.
men playing Leaf. So done. That dinner scene is just so long and masterful. It's masterful. The way
Yeah.
it's shot, the way it's acted. It looks like they all did that scene like one day and we're all just like on their shit. Top game. Each character has their own little thing. And it
Mm-hmm.
reminded me a lot of this dinner scene in Playtime.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
also a very long scene where like Playtime is like you it's like a there's like 10,000 different slapstick bits happening at once. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you watch one character doing something, you'll laugh. But if you watch the whole thing, it will be hard to find it funny. But there are little things that like return and like little idiosyncrasies that make it very funny. And I think this is like a perfect balance of just like 10 people and their idiosyncrasies and like Gene Hackman being the boringest shit on earth when he starts talking about the foliage. I watched that with my mom as well, and
Mm-hmm.
she literally fell asleep like during his monologue, which is so funny
Really?
because that's what happens to Robin Williams in the movie. He starts snoozing off.
Right.
Um, where he's like the foliage and the mountains on this beautiful country. I mean, talk about purple skies
And the green grass.
and the green grass. Anyways, like every time I watch that dinner scene, I'm so impressed by like everything that's going on. Like if this was a stage production, that would be so hard to pull off, like people knowing their lines and like having everything in place.
Right.
Which is crazy. I don't, the musical is probably insane. Haven't seen it. I have seen the French film,
Mm.
um, which isn't as good. I'll say it. This is maybe the one film where the original foreign language one is worse.
Wow. That's a shock
Because
right there.
it's less colorful as well. I mean, it's the same. It's this one is like practically a remake. There's not a lot changed, but the performances, the improv, the Americanisms of it, the color, the cinematography, the music, everything is just improved upon
Right.
um with this. And I don't know, these are my favorite characters ever.
He's like one
Some,
of my new
some
favorite like comfort
yeah.
characters.
He's so. This is a comforting movie for me. These are some of my favorite characters ever put to screen. I mean, the message is just so simple and sweet. Um,
Yeah.
and I thought it would be a great pick for post mysterious skin depression.
Yeah.
And I hope it cured yours as well.
Definitely. I definitely was laughing a lot and I'm very glad that I did.
Eh, Um, should we get to our ratings?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say mine first
Yeah.
because it's only fair. I used to give this a 9
Mhm.
because I don't really know why. And here's the thing, because speaking of Zev, our friend, um, he gave it a 9 and he was telling me like I give fives off to movies with a little more tension or a little more like grand or like a little more operatic. And I understand that. It's just for me, this is a comedy, and as it is a comedy, as it functions as a comedy, it's pitch perfect. It's just the right amount of drama and comedy and performance and like every joke hits, everything hits. It's very uplifting and dramatic and tense and stressful.
It is
And like
tense.
I'm not at a point of my life where I'm like gonna grade off for it not making me cry. Actually, I have teared up to this movie before, which is so stupid.
Really.
Um, but yeah, right here actually in this like um because it's just really sweet. It's a really sweet moment. Tears of joy, if you will. Um, but just because I wasn't like emotionally floored, that's not I'm not in a point in my life where I'm not gonna give this a 5. So that's where I am currently with this movie because it's just such a comfort watch for me. So it's also nostalgia, you know. Um, that's my rating.
Right. Okay. My rating is a 4 out of 5.
Okay, that's
And
good.
let me say this because okay. Um there's nothing that I didn't give it a 4 out of 5 because I found things in the movie that I just like
Right.
that I thought were wrong or bad or I disliked or whatever. Because I really like this movie,
Hmm.
but I just feel like compared to other movies I've given five
Right.
stars,
It totally makes sense.
it's
I'm not
like
like
I totally understand where you're coming from of giving this a five
yeah.
stars because from the perspective of like a comedy,
Hmm.
and like it being a perfect comedy, which it it almost is. It's very,
Hmm.
very good. But I think like for me, other movies that I've given 5 stars, and I don't only
No,
give
totally.
dramatic movies 5 stars, by the way.
Right, right,
Um, I just think that I don't know.
right. I totally
Yeah,
get it. I think our rating systems are a little different as
yeah,
well. Maybe one day we'll talk about it, but
it is.
I think this movie gives me a great feeling, and I hope it did for you too.
It
Um,
did. Oh, for
it's a
sure
great
it did.
it's a great watch. But yeah, we're heading into October now, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing will be a little of it will be a morbid month for one-on-one ratio pod.
Yeah, it will be pretty morbid.
'Cause we might be getting into some horror picks.
Maybe. Mm,
Perhaps depends on
perhaps.
how Meli shoots this off. It's actually currently the 2nd of October as
It
we are filming
is.
this.
Yes.
So we're really kicking off the month and starting our horror shenanigans. Should we get to the pick?
Yes, let's turn these bad boys off.
I'm very happy you like the Birdcage.
I kind of knew I was gonna like it. I'm like, it's a
Okay.
queer comedy. Like, of course
Right,
I'm gonna
right,
like it.
right.
Um, but I was okay. My pick. So I've seen this movie. Yoav has not.
Ah! I always get
Um,
so stressed when you start. Sorry.
and
You've seen this
I
movie, I haven't.
I pick a lot of I don't know. I this movie is perfect for October. It's pretty the opposite of the Birdcage. I'm gonna put that out there. It's not a comedy at all. In fact, it's kind of scary. Very gory, very bloody. I'm gonna put that out there.
Oh God.
I love traumatizing him. Okay. So I wanted to pick this movie a little bit ago, but I was like, no, I'm gonna hold off till October. So I'm gonna do it now. And it's actually so I've seen this, like I said, I've seen this movie. I watched this movie in theaters actually. Um it's newer. And
Okay.
so the pick of the week is the 2023 movie directed by Luca Guadagnino, Bones and All.
Oh, that's such a good pick, though. That's a really good pick.
Yeah,
Oh, awesome. Okay, because I never got a chance to watch that.
yeah. I know you never got to see it, and I went and saw it in theaters, and
You were
I'm
blown away.
I'm gonna save everything I have to say for next week, but I'm very excited
Okay.
to hear what Yoav is gonna have to say about this movie.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm super excited to watch it as well because I love Luca Guadagnino. I love Timothy Chalamet, and I love the poster for this movie.
Oh my God,
Not
the
the,
poster.
not the one where they're like make a heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the one that was like pre-release where it was like a fleshy like painting. Do you
Wait.
know what I'm talking about? Here, wait. I'll try to pull it up. It's like a
Oh, is it
very
this one?
this one.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love
Oh
this
yeah, that's
poster.
awesome.
It gives me just the right amount of ick and interest and like because this is very fleshy, although like it's a wall of
Yeah.
some sorts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got me super pumped for this movie, and then I never got the chance to watch it. So I'm
Yeah.
so excited. Oh, look at this poster. This is also nice.
That's a cool one.
We're a big fan of cool posters here.
We are. He sends me all these posters on Instagram. But yeah, I'm very
Right.
excited for him to see this movie, and I've been wanting a reason to rewatch it, so I'll definitely be rewatching this movie. And I think it's a little bit longer, and it's very, very deep. That's all I have to say.
I'm excited.
The debrief is going to be
I'm
long on this
excited. We
one.
haven't we haven't gotten philosophical in a while
Yeah, and this one is whew,
since uh close up.
yeah.
So we'll get
And I
to it.
think this one's going to be philosophical in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
you better be.
Woo! So thank you guys so much if you got here in the pod and watch Bones and All and form your own opinion and talk to us on next week's episode.
Yep. And thanks for tuning in. And um, if you didn't watch the Birdcage, go watch it. If you haven't seen it, watch it when you want to be in a better
You didn't
mood.
watch the Birdcage, you're homophobic.
You're homophobic, and we're gonna put you in a cage next.
Yeah. You're gonna go where we were before we flew off.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Bye,
Caw.
guys. We're gonna fly on out of here.
I don't have room to
Yeah, same.